On today's podcast episode, we're going to wrestle through a question that was submitted to us, but also I was just curious, so I went and Googled it. It's actually a top Google searched question right now on the internet. And the question is, can faithful people have panic attacks? And I'm going to amend the question a little bit. I think when they say faithful people, they mean, is it Christians who are obedient to Christ? Can they have panic attacks? And I'm going to add to that, does that mean they're not faithful if they have panic attacks? I think there's a question behind the question. If I'm having these panic attacks, does that mean I'm not faithful? If I'm having these panic attacks, does it mean I'm not trusting God? So what does that look like?
Well, I'm going to turn it back to you, okay?
Okay.
Sorry. So first of all, before I think can answer that, we got to define some things in there a little bit. So when you say panic attack, what do you mean? What's the context?
So a panic attack, normally, at least the ones I've had in my life, a panic attack is like I might be driving by something or I'm talking to someone, and all of a sudden I had these heart palpitations. I start to feel dizzy and weird, and it's because of I'm going to say it this way, a past trauma has triggered a present trauma. Right? And it's not necessarily even something that person has done to me, but it reminds me of something else that I feel like I'm back in that moment, but I'm not anymore.
Okay, so you're identifying a trauma trigger, we'd call it, right? A past thing. Also, I don't know if you intended this or not, but you slipped in there, past ones you've had, right? So this is relevant to you, right?
Yep.
So we're talking this stuff here. This is not something just for people out there somewhere, it's things that we deal with, right?
Yep.
So trauma triggering things, is it possible that a panic attack is not related to a person or an event in the past, but just a fear of the world?
Yes, because I think fear also triggers panic attacks because it gets into the what ifs. Like, what if this happened? What if that happened? Especially when I was younger, I used to be fearful of everything. My mom called me a warrior. Not a warrior, but a panic attacky warrior.
A warrior.
Warrior.
There you go.
And so I worried about everything. And so lots of things turned into panic attacks for me.
Yeah. I remember being younger. My parents would tell you the same story. I so badly did not want to be embarrassed or fail anywhere at all, and I couldn't quite put words to my personality yet at that time. And but I remember I'd go to bed at night as a teenage guy. I'd lay there until I get physically sick. I still, honestly, my wife would tell you, I still do that. I'll if we're traveling or something's going on, I'll get physically sick before we leave sometimes because I just worry about it so much, right? Think about it. Is it if a faithful Christian experiences some kind of a panic attack or a worry attack, or he's physically sick because is that indicative of sin or a sinful thing? My answer is going to be the short answer, no, not at all. I think we have a longer answer we need to do though too. So and back to you again, what did, because with panic, anxiety, worry, it's all similar kind of things, right? What did Jesus say about worry?
Jesus says actually, and about do not worry about your life, what you'll eat, what you'll drink, what you'll wear, the clothes on your back. See how God clothes the lilies of the field. If He can give the flowers these kind of clothing, how much more will your Father in heaven take care of you? I think in the book of James, it also talks about don't worry about tomorrow, for each day has enough problems of its own. Like, I think most worries for us either happen about things that are in the future, and I'm not necessarily even just things like in the future, like tomorrow or next week. It might be an hour from now. It might be 20 minutes from now. But there are things yet to come that have not passed yet that we are worrying about what's going to happen when we get there.
Okay. Paul also said that he said, don't worry about anything. Don't worry about, don't be anxious about anything, but instead rejoice in all things and pray continually and all this. So we see all that. So the short version is, does a panic attack mean you're sinning? The answer is really no, because that's an external thing that's happening to you. You're experiencing something, right? That would be saying, if I used certain language to talk about somebody else, would that be sinful of me? Like bad language, call people names and all that would be sinful of me? Yeah. But if I walked past you, this is not true. If I walked past you and you said something and I heard it and it kind of came over me, would that be a sin for me? No, it's an external thing to me, right? Yeah. So when panic attacks happen, I think those things are external. We're dealing with things that are around us, right? So the question is not, are those things sinful or are they a sin? Because they're external. You can't control when one hits you necessarily. The question really is what you do with it when you're in it, right? That's what you need to deal with. And so talking about those things, how do we deal with it? The short answer again is don't do it. Don't worry, all that. That's really hard to do. There are some people that are predisposed, whether it's genetics or personality or whatever, we're predisposed to certain things more than other people are, right? I know some people that would claim, and I believe them, they don't worry about anything ever, right?
Yep.
Life is just carefree all the time, and I'm kind of jealous of those people. Jealousy's a sin too, but I kind of am. But we look at that and we see that. There are people that are predisposed to anger more than I am, and they deal with anger a lot more than I do. There are people that are predisposed to whatever it is. We chase that, and the enemy, who's really, really good, he knows where we're weak. Me, you, he knows where we're weak, and he throws things at the cracks to try to implode and crumble us, right? Those things try to take root and grow up within us to choke our lives out. And so if you deal with worry in a panicky kind of way, what do you do to handle that? Any thoughts there?
Yeah, I think what you have to do is you have to, one, pause what you're doing, anything. And so if you're driving and you're worrying, I mean, you may need to get over to the curve or pull into a parking lot. Pause and breathe. Take back control of your breathing, because sometimes when we start to panic, at least in my life, when I start to panic, I'm not breathing well enough, and it actually triggers more. And so it's calming my body, breathing in and out slowly, and then reminding myself of how God has treated panics throughout the Bible. Because you said it's not a sin, and I think we can prove it from the Bible if you just read about the story. Because Jesus said, "Do not worry about tomorrow." He tells us not to worry because that's the better thing for us. But how he treats people was not like, "You worried, you're a sinner, you're gone," right? I love in the Old Testament. We're going to actually talk about this the week I'm preaching. So this coming weekend, we're going to be talking about Elijah having a panic attack moment. Elijah just wishing to die, and it says that God shows up in a quiet, still quiet voice. He feeds him. He lets him sleep. And God doesn't just say, "Get up! You're doing bad things." He said he meets him in his panic. And calms him down. And then reminds him of who he is and who God is. And sends him on his way. We're going to talk more about that this weekend, so I'm not going to talk more about that. Jumping into the New Testament, though, the disciples were panicky people all over the place. They were panicky in the boat. And Jesus said, "Why don't you trust me more?" But he didn't get onto them. He's just trying to show them in these moments, you didn't have to panic. I'm with you. You didn't have to do this. I'm with you. And we see the disciples go from panicky people, like panicky Peter, before the cross to after the cross, because he saw the ways that Jesus showed up and did different things. He's in a jail cell, strapped to 2 guards, and he's sleeping. He's snoring. He's out cold. Why? Because he's no longer having panic attacks. Because he's finally figured out how to trust Jesus. But it was a process for Peter. And it's become a process for me. I panic less now than I did before. And I'm hoping in the next year to panic less, and the year after that to panic less, and that my life becomes more trusting of who our King is.
I heard one time that our minds were made to be incredibly imaginative, right? We're created by a creative God in his image, so we're creative people. And sometimes the enemy attacks us with these things and uses our imaginations to create things to worry about. It's a misuse or a brokenness of our imagination, where God wants to use it to create good things, right? So we begin to train ourselves too to imagine good things. This is why Paul says, think on things that are good and pure and holy and all this kind of stuff, right? If I could say for a second, we've just come recently out of our Halloween season and October and all that, and I have a lot of great friends. If you're one of them, I'm not trying to be mean to you, but a lot of great friends that at Halloween, they love doing certain things. They go to spook houses, they watch scary movies, they do all these kind of things here, and then they wonder why they worry about things a lot. And I wonder if it's because we're thinking on things that are evil, dark, broken, awful, horrible, wicked. When God said think on things that are good, pure, holy, true, bring goodness to people, to all that, I wonder if it's training our imagination not to do things like Halloween style stuff and do things that are instead godly kinds of things like that. Like I just gave away my preconceived notion of Halloween, but we follow these kinds of things, right? And we do all this.
Well, it's fair because Jesus did say, whatever you put in you is what comes out of you.
Comes out.
Right? And so if you're putting in dark things, if you're putting in things that are purposely intended to scare you, to freak you out, then what's going to come out of you is scaredness, freak out. I mean, it's just going to happen.
And those things take root in us. I think we get prone to being panicky and worried and afraid because we've trained ourselves to do that, versus training ourselves to be pure, holy, happy, joyful, all those things. One more thing, I think that sometimes we dismiss the value that's found in just talking to other people, right? Because if you struggle with these things, if this is maybe anxiety has been a lifelong struggle for you, and you're trying to do it all alone, you were never meant to be alone.
No.
God gave you people to encourage you, friends, family, people, faith leaders in your church, elders, preachers, ministers, deacons, whatever they are, counselors. He gave you people in your life to help walk you along here. And sometimes we need to stop trying to do things on our own and instead start doing with somebody. And we talk about it and share these things, and we actually find great relief in doing so. So if you find yourself shouldering the weight of anxiety by yourself, maybe it's just time that you need to reach out to a counselor, or reach out to one of us, or reach out to a friend and say, I just need help talking about some things, because the attack of panic is not a sin. The choice to dwell in it is. And so we have to deal with it in a way to be healthier.
Well, the Bible teaches us that we're supposed to expose dark things to the light.
Yeah.
And I think those panic attacks is attacks of the enemy that are darkness. They're darkness being thrown upon you, and we have a tendency to grab it and go like this, not talk about it with anybody, and we're just shoving it down into ourselves where it's not going to be exposed to light. But if I take that anxiety and I take that pain and I talk to you about it, you help expose it. You're like, this is not as scary as you think it was. This is not as this. You actually got it. Thank you for doing it. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, you're right. And I need my family, my church family, and I need the light of Jesus in you to help expose the darkness that's trying to take root in me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, takeaway from today is not sin, like you said, unless you're dwelling on it. And so, some easy steps you can do if you're suffering with anxiety attacks, panic attacks: stop, breathe, recenter yourself, and go talk about it with somebody and release it to Jesus. Church, until we see each other again, you are sent. Have a great day.